Good day, everyone. Good evening, everyone. For tonight's talk, the title is A Mindful Life, Here and Now. Now, this word mindful, if you're into the practice more, probably you will hear about this word many times already. And about this here and now, it's also often mentioned. To live in the modern time, we live a very busy life. Almost everyone is very busy. The people who are in the workplace, the people in the school, and other fields, they all lead a life that is very busy. And the certain nowadays problem that we have is that we will heard something like, in our work, we encounter certain things like certain time we are overcautious and indecisive, and we cannot really concentrate. We do things in a rush, which is a very hasty way, and the efficiency is not good. And we also encounter the so-called our mind drift away, drift off easily. A certain time our mind is just like spaced out. And we're doing things that in such a way that is carrying it with multiple tasking. We're using our computer while we also have a handphone on our side. Anytime we are receiving signals, we are receiving messages. Not only that we are receiving certain phone calls that are just advertising, but also many other things that we receive from our friends, from our boss, and you name it. So it comes to a point where our mind is everywhere. And not only that we hesitate in making certain decisions, but we also could be that we also doing something that is out of reality, say daydreaming, or wanting something that is beyond our own grasp. It's quite, all those things that I mentioned, actually it's quite quite common. You could say that it's a common problem that we have. Now, 2 days ago, I sent out a video clip that I recorded from the center here that we're in, Dharma Drum Retreat Center. And it was recorded early in the morning, around 8 o'clock. And that day was kind of nice, so that outside all the birds chirping very beautifully. It's like an orchestra that's playing with so many sounds of the birds, so many kinds. And this is like early spring. So I sent it to a few friends. One of them is a doctor. And when he received it, he said, "Oh, wow, I really need, I'm in need of breath." What does that mean? Well, he said that working as a doctor, I always under deadline to meet with something. So that he was so busy. And another college student who could not really concentrate and he was not able to continue his study. The reason is that because he was addicted to playing games, games on his phone, on his iPhone. So he came to our place to attend a short time or retreat, like 3 days, just to help him. So we know that, a mindless thought, that give no meaning and purpose to life, which is we often do. We have many thoughts that's why we call it a scattered thought or wandering thoughts. Now, living in the modern time, there are many conveniences, very accessible if needed. It was not like before, but because of all these conveniences, it also brings many obstacles to the practice of the so-called mindful living. And one of them, the distraction, is a big obstacle. And for sure, we know that all these distractions, well, namely coming from this so-called digital technology world now, it's coming from smartphone, from the internet. And once you are in with your phone and you're watching all these, either YouTube or TikToks, there are so many things that it's so convenient to us, and it just attracted us, and it's continue on. And we although we may be tired a little bit, but we just want to continue on watching. There's so many things that is attracted to us. That's what happens. And actually, it takes a lot of our energy in watching those interesting things. While we're watching it, we don't feel that tired. But once we stop, and then right away, we'll feel we're so tired. Because of what? Because it is not just 10 minutes that we're watching it. It's an hour already. It's more than an hour. It could be 2 hours that we're watching it. How could we not drag by those and spend a lot of our energy there? That is something that we should be aware of. And that is why nowadays the so-called mindful living is quite popular now. Because if we live a mindful life, it could bring more clarity to us. It could be more relaxed. We will have better judgment. And of course, we also have more understanding of ourselves. And therefore, mindful living helps to increase our self-control, increase our concentration power. As mentioned, increase the clarity. And it is easier for us to smile because we are more relaxed. Most of the time, we did not spend more energy because of this mindful living. So mindful living is about living with awareness. And just like the title, here and now, referring to the present moment. So this kind of mindful living is to take care of our, you say, behavior. Take care of what we are saying and what our feelings are, so that we could live a present and good life. Our Master Sheng Yan said that the wisdom of life is to put down vexations from the past, to let go of worry to the future, live and ground yourself at here and now. First of all, put down vexation of the past, referring to past. We have for the past, we have memory. We don't deny that. But whatever that is connected with the past, that we give rise to vexations, either feeling sad or feeling proud or feeling angry or even feeling hurt, then we try to put down. Then we try to tell ourselves that this is already in the past. It's not really happening right now. I don't have to connect it, my like or dislike, to whatever in the past, but something I could learn from the past. Then I treasure it. And we don't deny our past, but we put down all the vexations to the past. The second one is to let go of worry to the future. Well, future, we have plans. We have goals to reach. That is what motivate us to move forward. But we should not put so much worry into it. We should not daydream about whatever the future will be. Imagine what it's like. But what we should do is that we live and ground ourselves at here and now. This is actually referring to we work hard in the present moment. We try our best in the present moment. That's what we're trying to do. And we ground ourselves in the present moment. While we're doing so, we will feel we are more down to earth. And also, when looking back, we are sure that we have done our best in whatever that we were doing. So the thing is that the so-called here and now, referring to put this practice of living mindfully in our daily life to here and now. This so-called here and now referring to, in general, is the time and space right here and right now. And there is a teaching of our teacher, Master Sengyen. He said that wherever your body is, this is where you put your mind. It refers to what? Whatever we do, the body, referring to our action. Then our mind should be with the movement, with the action, with the behavior that we're doing. So that's the first one. And then another one is whatever you do, this is where you connect your mind to. We're doing something. We're working in the office. Then our mind is right there with the work in the office. If we're studying, then we are there of this thing that we're studying. And then he also said that relax your body, relax the mind. And of course, we know that the body and the mind, they are connected. They are influence each other. They are affecting each other. If we're angry, if we're upset, the body will feel it right there. If we are happy, if we are at peace, our body also responds in such a way that it is more relaxed. And it will not tense up. So for the practice that that is taught by our teacher, he also said something like mind and speech, which is referring to your talk, we talk. They should be in accordance with each other. And then whatever that you're talking about is in accordance with the behavior or the action. And then another one is that the mind and the behavior is one. Now, these are all applicable to the so-called a mindful life. And you may start with one or two things if you're new to it, starting out whatever chores or whatever things that we're doing in our daily life. Say, I will practice this mindful eating. I just begin with that. See, experience yourself. How do you eat? So apply this so-called mindful eating. First of all, how do you eat? You observe yourself. How do you eat? How do you take your food? How do you bite? How do you choose your food? How much effort do you do it? And then you know how to adjust yourself. It is very simple. There is no need for thinking, actually. But it is so-called practice. So being mindful is that all the action that we do, all the movements of the body that we do, we just clearly aware of it. And even when we are thinking of something else while we're eating, we're also aware of that. I'm thinking of something else while I'm eating. While I'm eating. I should just return to this right now, eating. And then say, for example, in the morning when get up, we brush our teeth. Okay, just aware of how you do it. Are you do it correctly in brushing your teeth? Are you hurting your gum? Are you using too much effort with your hands? And what do you feel when you gargling? All these referring to the mindful practicing. They are all very simple. These things are all the simple things that we do every day. Every day. It does not involve so much thinking. But because they are so simple, and that is exactly that we are doing them mechanically. While we are eating, we're thinking of something else. And sometimes that we involve in thinking so much that we may bite our own tongue. The same thing with brushing. If we use too much effort, it may hurt the gum, and we may have bleeding coming out. And then it's the same thing with walking. Are we there with the foot that we're walking? Are we walking because it's so mechanical that we don't even enjoy that moment right there, but we're thinking of something else? So that is something that we could start with. Living a mindful life in here and now. And of course, this here and now are just words that remind ourselves when our mind drifts away. Now I'd like to share a story, a Chan story about Master Bai Zhang and Master Ma Zhu. Now, Bai Zhang was the disciple of Ma Zhu at that time, long time ago in China. And they were walking outdoor in the wilderness. And at that time, there was a flock of geese just fly by. So the teacher, Master Maju, asked, "What is that?" And Bai Zhang replied, "Wild geese." And Maju asked, "Where did they go?" And Bai Zhang replied, "Oh, they flew away." And all of a sudden, Master Maju turned and used his hands to grab Bai Zhang's nose and twist it. And Bai Zhang was so painful that he was yelling out, "Ah!" And then at that time, Maju said, "Did you say they flew away?" At that moment, Bai Zhang realized enlightenment. Now here is the first thing. Over here, you may have a question. Why? Why did he get enlightened? What happened? So now continue on. Bai Zhang went back to his living quarter, and he was crying so sadly and crying out loud. So those who live in the same living quarter with Bai Zhang asked, "Did you miss your parents?" And Bai Zhang said, "No." And then his colleague asked again, "Did someone scold you?" Bai Zhang said, "No." "So why did you cry?" And then he replied, "Our teacher, master, was squeezing my nose. Was so painful." "Why? What happened? Any reason for it?" And Bai Zhang replied, "Oh, well, why don't you just go and ask our teacher?" So the person, his colleagues, go to Maju's living quarter. He said that, "Oh, your attendant, Bai Zhang, what happened to him? Is there anything that he did wrong? He was crying in the living quarter. Could you tell me, please?" And then Maju replied, he understood it. That is to say, he knew it. Why don't you go and ask him? So again, Bai Zhang's colleague came back to the living quarter and asked Bai Zhang, saying that our teacher said that you understood, you know what's going on. So he asked me to go and ask you. And then at that moment, Bai Zhang was laughing out loud. So, of course, his friend, his colleague, was dumbfounded. You were just you were just crying so badly. Now you're laughing. What's going on? And then Bai Zhang replied, "Oh, I was just crying. Now I'm laughing." That was the reply. And of course, he would not know what's going on. Now, because I was sharing with you, I was talking about this mindful living here and now. And what is the relation? What is it, that story that I shared with you about Bai Zhang and Ma Zhu that is related to the talk? And where is it that is related to? That's what happens. So, well, my talk tonight, it's something that is about this mindful living. Now, mindful living, and I mentioned about the benefits of all this mindful living, but that is not enough, because the practice of Chan is not just limited to the so-called concentration power, clarity, this self-control, and this smile easily. It's not just to that, but it is the practice of Chan that help us to rid of our vexations, which is very important. And eventually, we could reach just like the Buddha. So I'll end my talk here.